In this fifth part of the video series, The World of the Bible, a brief background of Jesus' life and ministry will be presented. It includes the list of the parables and miracles of Jesus. The Holy Land in Jesus' time. Who were the rulers during the time of Jesus? At the time of Jesus' birth, Herod the Great was king trusted by the Romans. In 4 BC, after his death, his cruel son Archelaus became his successor. Archelaus was soon removed by the Romans. Herod Antipas, another of Herod's sons, ruled Galilee and Perea. It was he who had John the Baptist beheaded. Philip, the third son of Herod, ruled Iturea and Trachonitis, from Caesarea Philippi. After the exile of Archelaus, Rome ruled Judea directly through officials called procurators, who lived at Caesarea and only came to Jerusalem for special festivals. Pontius Pilate, the procurator, was temporarily in Jerusalem when he sentenced Jesus to death. Caiaphas, he is the high priest of Jerusalem who found Jesus guilty of blasphemy and sent him to Pilate for condemning. Jesus in Galilee. Jesus spent much of his life preaching and healing in Galilee. Although this Roman province was largely Jewish, many non-Jews also settled there. The Galileans, with their dialect, were despised by many Jews from Jerusalem. Here are the different places that Jesus had been: the Sea of Galilee, Capernaum, Chorazin, Magdala, Tabgha, and the Mount of Beatitudes. In Jesus' time, many towns clustered around the Sea of Galilee. It was while sailing across the lake that Jesus calmed a sudden storm. Jesus came to live in Capernaum and cured a Roman officer's slave, a leper, mother-in-law of Peter, a man with an evil spirit, and a paralyzed man. Jesus preached in the Capernaum synagogue, called Matthew, paid the temple tax, and denounced the town for its lack of faith. In Chorazin, Jesus performed miracles and later denounced the people for their lack of faith. Jesus also visited Bethsaida, where he restored the sight of a blind man and withdrew for a time of rest. At Magdala, Jesus was dining with Simon the Pharisee when a woman who was a great sinner anointed him. Tabgha may be the place where the risen Christ met the disciples and ate with them. The Mount of Beatitudes is the hill where Jesus taught the Sermon on the Mount. Parables of Jesus. Jesus also used many parables to transmit his message about him, his Father, and his kingdom. So, what is a parable? Take note that the parables accounts for about 35% of Jesus' recorded sayings. Jesus repeatedly drew illustrations from daily life in his parables. But the parables are not merely illustrations in his preaching. They are the preaching. Though the illustrations are drawn from familiar objects and events, they often include exaggeration and unexpected behavior. The kingdom is one central theme of the parable. Again, God and His kingdom are the focus of the parables of Jesus. It also revealed what kind of God He is, the way He works, and what He expects of human beings. Some parables also revealed aspects of Jesus' mission. The parables are aimed at challenging and calling us to a decision. They are told in order to bring the listener to recognize a point that he or she has not regarded as relevant. We also read in Mark chapter 4, verses 10 to 12, that Jesus taught in parables to hide His message. Some are far from self-evident, and teaching in this way helped hide Jesus' message from those hostile to Him. Using parables also offered an aid to the memory and could serve to bypass resistance in Jesus' listeners. There are about 32 parables of the kingdom. The following are Jesus' parables about the kingdom. The sower, growing seed, weeds, mustard seed, yeast, the pearl, the hidden treasure, the fishing net, the unwilling children, the unfruitful fig tree, the workers in the vineyard, the two brothers, the royal wedding feast, the great dinner, the wicked workers, lost sheep, lost coin, lost son, the two creditors, the Pharisee and the tax collector, the rich man and Lazarus, the watchful servants, 10 virgins at a wedding, the unreliable servant, the 5 talents, the 10 gold coins, the rich fool, Good Samaritan, the unforgiving servant, the troublesome friend, the dishonest manager, and the unjust judge.